Hello everyone and welcome or welcome back. Today I am going to do another vendor sort of spotlight video. I've got a little bit of leave, so I want to knock off a few of these because I find them helpful when I'm researching vendors, so I like putting stuff out there that might help somebody. And today I'm going to be featuring another Australian vendor, so this time a company very near and dear to my heart, probably the one I buy from the most, Maple and Wattle. They are an Australian brand. I already said that. I'm going to get stuck into it, and the reason for that is I have a time limit. The time limit is 25 minutes, maybe even slightly less, because I've got pastizzis in the oven, so that's my lunch. So I tend to waffle on too much, so there's no way I'm going to be able to talk about every scent that she has, so I'm going to sort of just try to talk through the different forms of wax and some of my favorites. And yeah, I also will only be focusing on wax. So she has bath and body as well, which I buy a lot of. I buy her body spritzers, I think, because they come in the same scents as the wax. So if I love the wax scent, then I can get the spritzer. I also love her whipped soap. She does like a detangling conditioner, argan oil. She does so many products. And she will be she's closed at the moment. She's actually on vacation in Canada. But in, I think, late Feb, she'll be opening, and she'll be opening into a model where she's open all the time. Previously, she was a restock vendor, so that's very exciting. So I'm going to get stuck into it first. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is her scoopable wax. So I have quite a few of her scoops. So that one's Sugar Woods. Now she has changed formula a few times. So, you know, so for example, you know, this formula from a little while, it's always been good, but it's just different. So this one is a little bit kind of sticky. This one went quite crumbly, so I don't know. I may have actually let a bit of air into that one because it's gone almost like sand, which again I don't mind, but that's actually changed. But more recently, her scoops have, and I'm just fishing some out. She calls them fluffy scoopies, by the way. Her scoops have got turned into a more. All right, so this is a recent one. So this one, so Bubbles and Boys. And it's a firmer kind of texture now, I would say. If you can see what I'm doing there. I don't think I've melted the new texture. Oh no, maybe I have. Let me see. So I won't waffle them already. Oh yeah, I have. So I melted the new formula in Crystal Castle, which is like, I think it's like cedar wood and sandalwood and, you know, just a nice kind of relaxing woody blend. The new formula is much better, I will say, and I love that she's now offering these smaller containers for scoops, because I do have a scoop problem in that I still have not, in my history of purchasing scoops over the year, I have not finished off a single scoop. So that's a bit of a problem. So having smaller scoops means that I am someone who enjoys a good scoop. Not all scoops are good scoops. You know, L3 I think is still my #1 brand for scoops, but Maple and Wattle is, you know, they're pretty much the only two vendors I actually have a lot of scoops in. So I do enjoy it. I don't find scoops stronger than regular wax, but I do find it lasts longer. So that's why I like having scoops around, because I can just throw it in and I know that it will perform for, you know, however long. There's sort of light changing outside. I know it will perform for a while. So I've still got a few unused scoops here I should get into this summer. So Island Escape, which is one of my favorite. It's like a pineapple coconutty type scent. This isn't all of them. I haven't fished them all. It's close to all of them. So I've got some fallen leaves and some crackling birch and stuff over there, which I tend to use to blend with. Bubbles and Boys is like one of my favorite cotton candy blends. I've had that in a few different formats, and I just wanted to have it in the scoop. As I mentioned, Crystal Castle, and I grabbed stock of Mermaid Champagne. It's like this sweet oceanic kind of, it's not very oceanic actually, but it does have a little bit there, but it's like pink champagne and some other stuff. It smells really good. I love these labels in that they're super different. I've no other vendor I know has them, and I love holographics. The only, I don't want to say beef, but the only problem I have is when I'm trying to take pictures, I find it really hard sometimes to to capture that, the name of the wax in it. So on video it's not so hard because I can kind of angle it around, but I tend to take, bird's eye pictures down onto wax when I, photograph it for Instagram, and yeah, so it's a little bit tricky, but that's okay. Next up, I've got she does wax in, so many different formats. So, I forgot to talk about the liquids. I think she's phasing out of liquids. And that's probably not a bad thing because I think she's struggled with, the formula has changed a few times. So one of the first ones I got was, very, very thick. And then she switched to this sort of very watery, and you really have to sort of separate it a bit and you have to shake up. I think with shipping in different climates in Australia and things like that, liquids are tricky. And look, they're not my preference. Because I don't really see any advantage into them over regular wax or over scoopable wax. And I find that they, sometimes like they leak, and that's, just me not sealing them properly. Like I just find they're harder to keep. They're sort of harder to store, like these little containers. I find them quite tricky to store. I like them for blending, and that's sort of what I'm doing with the rest of what I've got, is kind of just trying to blend them up. But yeah, and I think she is stopping. I think she did say she was moving out of liquids, and I personally don't blame her because, they're a bit of a gimmick to me, I think. Next up, talk about her clamshells. So she does two different types. She does this sort of clam stick shape, which you get 8 in the pack. And then she also does a regular sized 6 cavity clamshell. So, and both shapes are good. I think this one, because you do get like a bit of extra melt out of that, costs slightly more. I kind of prefer the 6 clam ones just because I've got so many, it's easier to stack them all together. These ones I kind of have to think a little bit more about the storage, but that's okay. She does, one of my favorite things about it, all right, so pretty much wax performance, spot on. I've never had any throw issues. Some things are only medium, like I'm not saying everything is super strong, but everything's medium or higher. Everything lasts a really long time. She does a lot of scent and oil blending, which you don't get much in Australia. I know that's really common in the US, and that's why I buy from US vendors so much, because I don't mind some single oils, and I've got a couple of Australian vendors that I go to for single oils, but the range that's available of oils that are available in Australia, it's just not the same as in the US. So I like a bit of creativity. I like having scents that are just different to what I've smelled before, because a lot of single oils to me are the same sorts of things that you get in the shops, for regular candles or body products, all that kind of stuff. So I like unique, and that's what she does. But she also, so I'd say her scent blending puts her on par with some of the US vendors I buy from. But what I think sets her apart is just the creativity in terms of the actual aesthetics of her wax, and the wax pools and the amount of thought that they put into it. And this is a really good example of that, while it's probably not the strongest of throws. So this is Beach Bound, which smells, it's a nice scent, but you can see she's done, it's like a tropical island. So it's got shells, a little bit of sort of glittery sand, but then the wax itself has got this two-tone thing going on. Can you focus, camera? Struggling. There we go. Yeah, it's got this two-tone thing going on, and there's a lot of shimmer in there as well. You can't see it, but it comes out when it melts. And I have posted pictures of that particular wax on Instagram because it's just stunning. Like, it seriously does create a tropical, like an island in amongst water with shells in your warmer. Like, it's freaking amazing. Look, I know it should just be about the smell, and ultimately when the wax melts, that's not, but I am a sucker for a pretty wax pool, like, and I always will be. I just think they, I like taking pictures of pretty wax pools. I like watching wax melt, not that I can sit there and just watch it go, but, coming in and checking on it and having a look, and I really enjoy that element of wax. Not to say I won't buy from vendors that don't do pretty, but I like to have a mix, and there's certain warmers in my house. My white Glades, in particular, the one that I've got in the lounge room, I like to reserve that one for wax that looks good. So other clamshells that I've got, so I've got a couple of this one, the Barons, which I think I talked about because I melted it last week. It's like orange spice, frosted winter berries, I think cedarwood. It's amazing. One of my favorite scents. I tried to buy 3, but it sold out. Mahogany coconut, which is like a Bath and Body Works dupe, is another favorite. I think I've got a couple of clams in that. Where are they? Where's the other one? I didn't think I finished it. I'm muttering to myself over here. There we go. Yeah, so I really enjoy that oil, and I haven't seen any other Australian vendors offer it. Last Unicorn, I did say I wasn't going to go through all of these, but I'm sort of reminding myself of what I've got in my clamshells because I sort of haven't had a look lately. That's a really nice sort of melony scent. This one was so good. Peach buttercream marshmallow. It's like peachy candy. I still can't explain it. I need more. So more, you can see this is a favorite of mine. It's a cotton candy blend. I think it's got champagne and some other stuff. It is amazing. I had it in the scoop, but I've also got it in, so that's why I haven't used the scoop yet, because I want to use the clamshell up first. Another one from, she did like a unicorn sampler, and then she did clamshells of those scents, and so that's what that one is. That one's very effervescent. She did a marshmallow sampler too, so I bought some of these clams in her December release. And Derry was from her It sampler, so I'm glad that she's making some of those blends available, because sometimes you don't want the whole sampler, but you really like the look of certain scents, and that was me with a couple of those samplers. I do enjoy. I buy quite a few of her samplers. So ones like, melts like this make beautiful wax pools. There's a lot of shimmer in there. It's yellow, but then the red really comes through. That's like a kind of lavender soda type scent, but not, it's actually a bit different to your typical lavender soda. So yeah, no, her clams, I have no complaints with her clams. I think they're well priced, they perform well. They're always pretty, really, really nice. I'm just going through and seeing if there's anything else. One of my favorite scent notes that she does, other than her cotton candy, which is fantastic. If I see lemon custard, which I think this one has, that is like an instant buy for me. I think my favorite scent that she did in that was Witch in Pink, which I've got some shot pots of. That's a dupe. Because that one was cotton candy, lemon custard and something else, and it was just amazing. And it's the lemon custard that really, so that one We All Float Down here, I think also had that. It just smells really good. This is an example of like a scent description list that you get in her samplers, which is quite handy. Not all of them have come with this, but I hope she does it with all of them, because it's really nice just to get that reference list of what all the scents are. sorry about the bag. So that was the Spring Fling sampler, which I picked a couple from this week to melt. I'm sure you'll see, I did this week, you'll see it in my video for empties when it comes up. I did, what did I do? Spring Clean and Crisp Linen, those last two. And they were quite nice. I think my favourite from this sampler so far, Sugar Pear, Pink Sugar, Orange and Juicy Pear. That one was really good. So yeah, you know, the samplers are always, and she always does just really pretty melts again. So, you know, you can see there's just shimmer and niceness and multicolours, and again, like, you know, just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous melts. So still a few of that sampler to get through. 15-minute mark. I have 10 minutes before I have to go and attend to my food. Where do I go next? So I've also got, so other wax forms. She does so many wax forms. So she started doing some donuts lately. So this is one I haven't melted yet, First Kiss. You know, really pretty. There was one that had a lot of marbling on it, which was just amazing. This one, you know, there's some golden shimmer and stuff on that. Wax, so this was Clueless was another wax donut. My only, look, this isn't real, pretty much all the Australian vendors, so you can sort of see on this chunk there. All of the Australian vendors, I think it's a supplier thing. To get the polypropylene bags, they all seem to be this, and I know they're polypropylene, they are protecting the wax quite well, but they are these resealable kind of things. Now, I don't mind the resealable bags for a one and done type melt like this. See, pretty. Because obviously you take it out, it's done. But when it's something that you need to chop up, like this one, you can see I've got some tape here. You can't help it as you take it, particularly because the wax that she uses to uses for the choppable pieces is a bit softer, and it can be a little bit greasy, just a touch. And I find that no matter how much I try, it gets on the sticky bit and it doesn't seal anymore. So I'm having to seal up a lot of my wax chunks and pretty much, yeah, anything that's coming in those bags. So like this one, Supernatural, I'm having to reseal them all, so yeah, if any Australian vendor is able to find a supplier of zip top polypropylene bags like they do in the US, you will get all my money. I'm just kidding, but you know, it would be amazing. I might even have to buy some off a vendor over there to rebag some of my stuff. That's how much it bugs me. But anyway, so this is half of a wax chunk. This is Supernatural, which was smoked vanilla, pumpkin, whipped cream, I think. I was really uncertain cold because it smells like really kind of spicy pumpkin. Warmed up, holy hell, this was so good. One of my favorite pumpkin blends. So, and it creates an amazing wax pool with all those little chunks. So yeah, she does blends, crazy good blender. So I've got quite a few sort of different wax chunks. She also does, and apologies if I seem rushing, but I've got 6 minutes until I have to get my food. Wax sticks as a different format. I picked up a few in sort of soft drink or soda scents. This Rose Blood Orange one was really good. So those, you know, look, there's nothing special about the wax sticks in terms of format. You have to kind of snap them to fit in your warmer. Yeah, you know, they're okay. Another wax stick. I'm glad she started doing slightly smaller ones, because at first she was doing them in these bags without labels, and that was one thing. The ones that she was doing that weren't properly labeled, like they just have the scent name, I wasn't a huge fan of that, so I'm glad she switched. Shot pots. So she always does a lot of shot pots. These are a perfect size for just a single melt. you know, and they've always got a bit of, not a crazy amount of decoration, but just, you know, a bit of different color and shimmer. So while they won't give you as fancy of a wax pool as, say, a chunk might, they're still really nice. So there's another chunk, pink lavender. That was really good too. So yeah, I have, ooh, one's fallen out. And there it is. Earl Grey tea and brioche. Look, I have to say I'm not that fussed that one's been out of container for a while, because I'm going to have to blend it anyway. It's probably one of the few that I'm not a fan of. Oh, wax cookies as well she's done. So this was a super neon pink pretty wax pool. I used half of that. You can see the variety of things that she offers. So more wax. I've got more halves of wax chunks. True Blood was really nice. Candied blossoms. You know, I'm hard pressed to find a scent that I don't like of hers, to be honest. Oh, here's a whole chunk. I need to get into that. See, this is the benefit of me doing this. I find things I forgot I had. Berry Meringue Pie. I've actually got this in like bath rubble, bubble rubble, for my son's bath, and it smells really nice. So I think I might pull that for next week's melting. I thought I finished this sampler. Oh, that's cool. So not only did I not finish it, I had 2 left. I'm crazy. So the It sampler. So Derry and the Barons, which are 2 of my favorites. I initially smelt them in these really cool, this was one of the coolest things I've ever seen a vendor do. They're like a little wax sandwich. So you put it, when you put it in, so it was a sampler of about 10 different melts maybe. And it's a bit sticky now because it's been sitting in the bag for a while. But, so it's got, they all had like the little, you know, clown imprints, lots of shimmer. But you can see that sort of red wax sandwiched in between. When you put that in the warmer and it melted out, it gave like a bleeding effect. It was so cool. That's what I mean about just pushing the barriers with different wax pools. So I'm quite happy that I thought I melted them. So I've got 2 more of these. That's really cool. Sorry, I'm just like picking through and making sure that there's nothing else long lost that I... so another sort of different sort of style of wax cookie, pumpkin pie. I've got so many different wax shots in here. I think I've got about 20 or so. And I tend to sort of melt my way through 1 or 2 a week. Last wax. Let's see, this one's really cute. Hola Punta Cana, one of my favorite scents. This is like rum, really kind of heady, coconutty. I've got it in liquid form, but I wanted it in solid form because, yeah, liquid I don't always want to deal with. Don't always want to deal with liquid is the short answer there. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what last thing to show. So this. So the Nightmare, a very gory sampler. So she did a sampler for a very gory story or poem or something, I don't know what it's called, where she did 1 melt for every letter of the alphabet, which is a line of the song. So they were these kind of like little muffiny type melts, and that's been really fun too. So I've been sort of trying to melt 1 or 2 a week, so I've still got quite a few of those left. I think I'm not even halfway through. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, and as I said, I have a lot of maple and wattle. That's not even everything I've got. I've still got most of that very gory sampler sitting behind me and a little tub of shots. But yeah, definitely a favorite Australian brand of mine. I buy from her as much as I can. You know, reliable, nice blends, pretty wax pools, just really fantastic stuff. So highly recommended.